Welcome back to OpenLine. Tonight we're talking about easing that back-to-school anxiety both for the student and the parents out there. Dr. Edwina Chappell with the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services, that's a long title, is here helping us through it with some great tips. I want to kind of double back and put this on the screen. We talked about learning in different ways. I'm a visual learner, so I like to see tips, and that's what we're going to do. Parents should, over the next week and the first weeks of school, do these things, and it starts with just being patient and being prepared to listen. You got to pick up those little nuggets from your kids, right?
Exactly. And we talk about listening, you know, doing that active listening kind of thing, so that you're really hearing what they're saying, you know, and that they understand that, you know, oh, Mom, Dad, they really heard me this time, you know, as opposed to, and put things down, you know. I think we want them to pay attention to us, so give them that eye contact.
Yes, they know when you're not paying attention.
Yes.
You also want to maintain consistent routines, but be flexible when you have to.
Right.
And it's not only getting ready for school, but the chores. You just need predictability.
Right. Well, I mean, it's that not knowing that we that's unexpected, that really kind of creates that stress, creates that anxiety. So if they've got a routine that says, okay, we're going to do homework, you're going to do your homework every day after when you get home from school, and so that's kind of the standard. But maybe tonight, I mean, that's why you have to be allow flexibility, is that maybe something came up, and so there was a meeting, and so we weren't able to work on that together this time. But you know, you have kind of prepared you know, the person for that, your young person, so that he or she kind of knows. But you know, you have kind of these standard things, and what some parents do too is, you know, like they'll have activities or rules or different things like that on kind of whiteboards or little magnets and different things like that to help, as you were mentioning, being a visual learner, so help kind of keeping things, and not expecting the child to only be the one to follow the rules, so that there should be things. So if we're asking, say for example, the child to make sure that he or she removes his or her plate, you know, from the table when he or she finishes, then guess what? We need to remove ours too, so that it's, you know, that it's not kind of that double standard there.
Lead by example.
Right.
Also provide opportunities for practice and rehearsal. I remember going into middle school being freaked out about having a locker. It just, I mean, I was obsessed about it. I thought, well, what if I can't open the locker? What if I don't know where the locker is? It really made me anxious going into 6th grade.
Right.
So this is, you know, and luckily I think my school had like a day where you come and practice your locker.
Right, exactly. And if you can, and I guess that's one thing, and you know, some parents, I guess, will be able to go to the school ahead of time, you know, be able to meet with staff ahead of time, so that they feel comfortable. The children would be able to go and kind of see what the environment would be like, you know, so they won't be something, and they're like, oh, well, this is, you know, they have a nice look at things. And so when school day occurs, then they are just really ready. Oh, I know where I'm going, you know, and they think they're kind of ahead of things.
But this could be the same for, you know, if the ACT is coming up and you have a child with testing anxiety. There are all those practice forums on the internet, and you say, okay, today's ACT day at home. We're going to practice like it's the real thing. And get used to it.
But again, you know, those things, you know, maybe don't do it just one time, you know, so provide several opportunities, especially, you know, if you know somebody is kind of, you know, say struggling with certain kinds of things. Maybe it's, you know, being able to, you know, to talk to someone that's new. So, you know, you might want to give them several opportunities, you know, along the way, you know, as you go forward. So don't think that just one night or two is going to
fix it. Yeah. And then the last tip is just praise and reinforce the effort, even if it's not the A+ or the perfect score, or you know, they detached from you immediately when you got to school.
And sometimes, especially when our young people get in high school, sometimes that really becomes an issue, because what are we thinking about? College,
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. But, we have to, kind of remember that, these are, still young persons. They're still growing. They're still developing. Their brain isn't fully developed yet at that particular time. And so, and they really do, they feed up, just like we do, they feed off of praise.
Yes.
And, support. And we might think that because we're the parents giving to them that they aren't, but they really do appreciate it a whole lot. And and reinforcing when they get in. So, and you're building that confidence, so they'll be willing to maybe take that next step. And so I'm not as anxious now as I was. I can at least move to this level. Right.
Let's also talk quickly about what schools can do, because they are your partner in this. They first of all need to reduce the unexpected situations.
Exactly.
What does that mean from a school perspective?
Well, I was thinking along the lines, how even on our jobs now, how often are we notified when the fire drill is going to occur?
Never.
Well, well, I was getting ready to say it. We are. You are? We are.
Wow.
Okay. But if you think about that, it really is helpful, because then when it occurs, then I'm not as anxious, I'm not as stressed about it, So, if schools kind of let the young people know, okay, or sometimes this week we're going to have a fire drill, so when that happens, then, young people don't get, so it's kind of that kind of thing, just knowing, kind of having an idea of what's going to happen. You may not have the exact time, but they have a frame to work from. Exactly, exactly.
Yeah. Also, pair anxious students with peers who are more confident and supportive.
And I think a lot of schools have moved kind of to a buddy type system, especially when you're looking at the possibility of new students coming into school, so that they will have a buddy to go with you to the cafeteria, even a buddy in your classroom, a buddy to walk with you to your different classes and so forth. So you can kind of know where things are. I keep wondering, how in the world do we find how to get around? But there are many more children in schools now than probably when in our particular schools and so forth. So, it's really very helpful for them to help us, and then it makes that young person feel, and they feel special as well.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have someone they can rely on right next to them. And then also it can help to move a student to a quiet setting, fewer distractions. Because you said a lot of this may develop or at least appear as ADHD. So having just a quieter environment, letting them relax, right?
Yeah, because, all those thoughts, those anxious thoughts that are going in through the head, they are just really
they can be loud.
Kind of, they're really clouding up things for that young person. And so, sometimes just kind of setting them somewhere, and maybe it's they're going to be somewhere where they can view, maybe on a computer, a nice nature scene.
Oh, that's nice,
and something that simple, and that will kind of minimize and reduce, the stress levels for them, and kind of help them refocus and, kind of reframe and maybe, be successful at what they were trying to accomplish at that point.
And you made a good point. We're going to put up a couple of websites that folks can check out here in a second. You said off your website, more people are downloading the tips and information regarding to disruptive behavior rather than anxiety disorders. And that's kind of just reinforcing the fact that maybe a lot of folks are skipping that, it's really just an anxiety disorder.
Yeah. And it's just amazing how we see some of these behaviors kind of playing out in ways that we didn't expect them to play out, and some of that, of course, is in some of the acting out behaviors that we have. And again, I think we talked about, for some of the young people who are doing more avoiding, more isolating themselves, kind of pulling back, and they don't really have many friends, that kind of thing, then what can happen if anxiety goes untreated in those cases is it can possibly lead to depression.
And nobody wants that for their child.
Exactly. So, seeking help there, a lot of different resources. Sometimes schools have information that they can share with parents about possible practitioners, whether it be private practitioners or whether it be community mental health centers, that kind of thing. So usually, there are quite a few resources, and especially in this Metro Nashville area, I think that we can find, quite a few persons who have some experience working with children and adolescents, and actually have an interest and some training in anxiety disorders with children.
And is this something that you often see success in once children seek that, or the parents seek the help for their child?
Yes.
That there is success.
Yes, and because actually I think the highest recommended treatment is cognitive behavioral therapy. It's a lot of that, self-talk, kind of thing, and it's those intrusive thoughts that kind of get away and have us at the very high level. So.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, much more. Stick ahead.